What if your passion wasn't just something you did in your free time, but your way of life? Today we meet Beattie, an author and entrepreneur who has dedicated her life to exploring Calgary on foot and by bike. Let's step into her world of movement, connection, and creativity and see how the Serious Leisure Perspective, SLP, can help us understand her lifestyle. If I propose serious and leisure in one sentence, what comes to mind? Should leisure be taken as a serious topic? Should leisure be taken seriously? You might know someone passionate about their leisure. How has their commitment impacted their life, their identities, and their community? I'm Saulo, and I'm curious about leisure and its transformative power. Journey with me through this documentary to explore how people have discovered meaning and joy through their leisure. Welcome to my serious life. When I moved to Calgary, I ran to understand the city. But some people find meaning by slowing down. Beattie has been walking Calgary for decades, turning everyday paths into adventures, writing books that help others fall in love with the city all over again. Her passion for walking goes far beyond exercise. It's about connections between people, neighborhoods, and stories. In Bob Stebb's definition, leisure is an uncoerced, contextually framed activity engaged in during free time, perceived as such, which people want to do and using their abilities and resources actually do in either a satisfying or a fulfilling way, or both. In Laurie's case, the activities she's passionate about shape her ways of living and led her to start a business around that.
Well, that's the story. When you run into people as you're walking and you have conversations with them, that is you're actually going to run into people and talk to them in the neighborhood, right? And so when I walk by that guy's house who has the art car, I've been watching that car, different art installation all the time, and he finally walked out. So I say, hey, are you the art car guy? And we have a great conversation and I meet somebody.
Well, I think when you boil it down, I love being outside. I love being active. So in the end, walking, running a business about walking was kind of how it all. That's what it ended up being. And through that, I've built the things that I have, which is moving through cities in a self-propelled way. I love biking as well. I like just being outside. So I sort of made a life that allows me to do that wherever I am. Wherever I am, I will do that. It happens to be Calgary. Yeah, so I mean, I tried lots of things, small businesses. I'm kind of an entrepreneurial person. And in the end, I realized what I liked is to run a business and to walk, the most basic things. So I started a walking business quite a few years ago. And through doing that, I created routes all through the city and took people out on guided walks. And then I realized I have a book here. And then I created a book and I found a publisher and wrote a book. And then I realized I loved biking. And so I created a biking book. And then it just snowballed from there. And then, I would do presentations on it and it became my thing. And I became the person who just walks around Calgary. And so I guess it's just, I just continued doing what I like doing, which was being outside. And also I go into the mountains. Like I love nature in general. I love cities. I love all of it. I love being outdoors. So it's, whether it's in the complete wilds or in the urban environment, I'm going to do it and I'm going to find the great stuff in it.
Right, and as you mentioned the book, I know you brought my book.
Yes, I did.
Yes, so tell us about this book. I know it's a best-selling book. Can you tell me more about
so
it?
it's called Calgary's Best Walks. And so basically what I've done is I've created through neighborhoods and parks, I've created connections that allow people to see the city in a way they can never do when they're in a car. So when you're on Crowchild or Deerfoot or Glenmore, you don't see what's behind the scenes. And also, it's never about the journey at that point. You're trying to get somewhere. Whereas when you slow down and you actually start to connect a city in a way that's slower, you start to see what's behind the main roads, who lives there, what are the stories, what are the people doing, how do the houses look like, what are the connector paths, the hidden stairways, where are the best Saskatoon berries growing, going, and that brings the city together in a different way. You see it totally differently when you slow down and have it. It's like when you are a tourist and you're looking at things in a fresh perspective. That's what I bring to people in those books. It's like you may live in an area in Calgary and you have your routine and you don't really look around anymore, and I'm going to help you look around. Like when you travel, you look around. This is what I'm trying to get you to do in your own city.
Laurie's book is beautiful. It has lots of maps of trails and lots of photos. The photos are amazing. I love them.
So, the photos that are in the book?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're all in the city of Calgary. I take them, you will see them, I'm assuming, in the video. Yeah, and I also have some photographers who are in the book as well, who do the landscape, or the wildlife photos and the birds. And yeah, so we feature the best of Calgary from, whether it's the nature, it's the homes, it's the the neighborhoods, it's the wilds. Everything that's in this city is I try to capture in photographs. The murals, the art, everything that makes up an urban environment. Because everybody goes out for different reasons. So I'm never, when people write guidebooks, they write nature mostly, and I thought that very small percentage of the population responds to that. What people respond to could be coffee or history or views or a workout on the stairs or whatever. So I incorporated all of that into my storytelling in my books. So, and very visual. So a lot of photos and a lot of really great maps. And that's the initial, I want people to look at it and go, it's beautiful and it's functional. It's not just a guidebook that has a bunch of words. So it makes you're inspired when you open it. You want to see these things. You can't believe they're actually in Calgary. Actually, you're saying to yourself, that can't be in Calgary, but it is. So that's my storytelling in my books.
As I was checking her book and hearing her thoughts, I was wondering about her trajectory, the things that led her to develop a business based on her passions.
Well, I grew up in the Maritimes in New Brunswick and went to university in the Maritimes, and then I decided to go west, as many people do, because there would be opportunities. I never had a real job. I've never had a real paycheck. I've never had benefits. I've never had any of that. I just made things up constantly. And so I got to Calgary and I started biking and walking around, and I realized, okay, this is kind of a thing I like. I had a couple of other businesses, and then I just decided to build a business out of that and move through the city self-propelled, and that's kind of how it went. I just made it up. Every step was just a thing. I like being outdoors. I kept creating things and I kept building it from there. There was really no path that I meant to be on. It's just like a path I created as I went. And I love the mountains too. So, that was a big part of it. But the story in the city hadn't been told. Like most people thought, there's no story in the city for being outdoors. The story is leaving the city if you want to have wilderness or beautiful or nice. And so I told the in the city story because nobody had told that one, and it's a good one.
Laurie's experiences add a fresh dimension to our exploration. If we go back to the SLP diagram, we will find the concept of devotee work. There, serious leisure and devotee work are immediately under the same category called serious pursuit. Devotee work serves to label activities and experiences where people feel a powerful devotion or strong positive attachment to a form of self-enhancing work. In Bob's words, in such work, the sense of achievement is high, and the core activity endowed with such intense appeal that the line between this work and leisure is virtually erased. This is serious leisure for which the worker gets paid, and which amounts to a significant part or all of a livelihood. The idea of passion and leisure is displayed in very interesting ways when we hear Laurie's comments on how this type of involvement can shape Calgary's development.
Well, I think it's the only way to transform a community is at a grassroots level. And so people who do things they're passionate about, they put so much into it. And it's not about making a lot of money. It's about loving what you do. And when you bring that to people, it affects them in a really great way, because we're starting to lose that as we move to more efficiencies and, big box stores, and you don't know people when you go into shop and you don't have that connection. And when people are excited about what they do in a city, they bring that to their communities, and that just, it brings people together, and they really appreciate that enthusiasm and that passion, and whatever it is. Mine happens to be walking and telling the story of Calgary. It's somebody explained it. It's like a love letter to Calgary. When I write books, I'm trying to show that there is so much so much to see. I mean, in Calgary, but in any city. Like if you start to sort of look around and get the people's stories and connect to people, it just makes everybody happier. Like the people you talk to, they talk to you. You write about their city, they feel proud. They're like, hey, that's my neighborhood. That's great.
Right.
So I think anybody bringing a passion to anything will make a place better. Like that's just how it will be. So we just need more people, to want to do that at a grassroots level. Yeah.
I know that Laurie has been celebrated by Calgary community. She has been very present in the news, giving tips and thoughts on outdoor activities. Her book is a best-selling book and so on. But I wondered, what was her perception on her own passion to be outdoors and the impact on the community?
I have a company called Fit Frog Adventures, and it started out as where I lead people on urban and mountain walks, and it's kind of like a club feel. I created walks, and we'd go out and we'd walk through the city and the mountains and all these kind of things. So in starting that company, I didn't think I'd be doing it for long, and then it just kept going and changing, and I kept it. So now I still create walks and I lead walks. I'm not trying to make company bigger. It's not about growth. It's about more a chance to go and walk around and make it my work. And then in doing that, I do my research and then I write books, and it's all sort of tied in. So Fit Frog is about sort of taking people out through an urban environment, through the mountains, and getting them outside. More like a club than a business, really. It's not really about making a lot of money.
Right.
It's about curating good people to be together, that when you're around them, they lift you up. They don't, and just nice people getting together, moving through a place outdoors, having a good experience. Yeah, kind of an odd business model, but it's kind of it's about projects. So the walking, then I write the books, and I write articles, and I do speaking things, and it's all about the same story that you heard in that presentation about getting people out and moving through place. The stories I'm telling are based on my experience and what I love to do. So when you love doing something, then you can tell people about it in an enthusiastic way that inspires, right? So whenever I tell stories about what I do, I'm trying to inspire people to want to go do it. And it's very visual, it's very animated, I'm very enthusiastic. So the stories will always be positive, upbeat, optimistic, and encouraging. And I don't get into, because some people that are promoting this whole active living, transport, whatever, they get very activisty. I'm never going to be that person. So I'm going to be the person that says I love this, not the person's like, you should do this, don't drive your car, because that's not the point, right? The point is that you do it because it's enjoyable. Do things because you like them. That's what I kind of try to inspire people to do, not because they're good for you or you should do them, or people say that it's better for you, because you love it. And so when I tell stories, I inspire. I inspire through my love of it, I guess.
Work and leisure can present very blurred boundaries. Laurie's lifestyle and business can serve as a curious case here in Calgary. With her, we learned that it's possible to build a pathway connecting passion, lifestyle, and leisure. Walking and biking help her to connect herself and others to our city, our communities, and to ourselves. Finally, Laurie's story served to remind us that passion isn't always about what we do in our free time. It can be taken as something between work and leisure, shaping our entire ways of life, our trajectories in the city, and the whole community around us.